of the Windy City standard model blues box. The cigar box guitar that you're looking at buying either on the website or on eBay may not look exactly like this. The box may vary, the neck widths may be different, but it's the Windy City standard model, so all the features are going to be the same. The only variations would be in the box and possibly the woods. Other than that, it's all the same. So I'm going to do a little bit of playing acoustic first, and I'm going to plug in and show you how it sounds electric. The action, it is set perfectly for easy finger work if you want to play without a slide, and it's just high enough to be where you can comfortably play with the slide without the slide bumping against the frets or anything like that. Alright, so I'm going to do that same little lick again, plugged in an amp, unclean, and then I'll show you a little bit of distortion. Alright. And this thing really has a powerful sound when plugged in. It's not quite at all. Piezos are often, sorry, let me clarify. The piezos are the amplification units that are inside the cigar box guitar. You can see it doesn't have a traditional electric guitar pickup. If you wait until later in the video, I'm going to be opening up the cigar box guitar and showing you all the different features. And the piezos are what's used to amplify this. And piezos, or some pronounce it piezo, are kind of notorious for not having quite as much volume or power as a typical electric guitar pickup unless you use a battery-powered preamp unit, which my cigar box guitars do not use, but they're just as loud and just as powerful in my cigar box guitars as a regular electric guitar. So, this is plugged in. So now I'm going to put on a little bit of distortion. And just a little quick tip while I'm filming, cigar box guitars often, while playing distorted, not too uncommon for them to get a little bit of feedback. A few tricks that I use to keep the feedback away is, actually, there's a few things that I do in the construction that you'll see later in the video. But if you do not face your amp, I know a lot of people when they play, if they're just sitting around at home, they'll be sitting there with the amp right in front of them. If you've got your amp facing away from you, and not directly away, as you can see, like I'm facing the camera as the amplifier, that's going to cut down a lot on feedback. And if you're still getting feedback then, you can sit behind your amp. You can see the amp is ahead of me. I have to reach forward to get to it. So with the amp a little bit in front of me, that's going to get rid of even more feedback. But let me play with a little bit of distortion on here. So you can tell distortion, a lot of power. Sounds good unplugged, sounds good on clean mode of the amp, sounds great on distortion. So that's about it. Stay tuned for the second half of the video and I'm going to show you some of the features on this.
I'm here just to talk to you a little bit about the standard model Windy City Blues box, cigar box guitar. So I'm going to start from the inside out and show you what's on the inside before I move out and explain all the woods and what's going on the outside. So in order to open up one of these cigar box guitars, or the Windy City Blues boxes at least, you want to first take off the brass corners, and I removed the screws ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and take all these off. And then another thing that you want to take off is the bridge. Now be very careful. This isn't glued down, it's not screwed down, it's just kind of held in place by the pressure of the strings. So be very careful that you don't lose this part. So set that off the side with the brass corners. So, first thing that I want to talk about is our signature floating neck design. As you can see, the neck passes straight through the center of the cigar box guitar, but it's not touching the back, it's not glued to the back, and the same with the top. When the top is closed, you can see, because of all that space separating the neck from the top, that it's not going to be in any contact with the surface of the cigar box guitar in any way. This is going to allow it to kind of resonate better volume, better tone, because the whole box will be able to vibrate more. A lot of cigar box makers will glue all or part of the neck to the surface of the cigar box guitar, or at the very least they'll have a little nub of the neck touching the back over here by the bridge to add support. But I don't do any of that, just straight through, no contact, best tone, best vibration, best volume. It just makes the whole cigar box guitar work a lot better. Now, like I said, most cigar box guitar builders will have a little bit of nub of the neck come and touching the back, so that, like, it'd be raised back here to add support for the bridge. As you can see on this cigar box guitar, the strings come over the bridge, but that's a lot of force going down on that bridge, so there's got to be some kind of support to keep the face of the cigar box guitar from kind of arching inward under all that pressure. So to fix that problem, I use our dual sound post system. And these actually serve two purposes. One is obviously to add support to the surface of the cigar box guitar so that it's not bowing inward. And number two is that's going to transfer some of the vibrations from the surface directly to the back. So when you think about it, we got our strings running directly over the bridge. So you're going to have the vibrations moving straight from the bridge to the surface. Now the whole surface, the whole lid of the cigar box guitar is going to be vibrating. And normally those vibrations would spread kind of indirectly from this to the rest of the guitar. So not so much direct vibration transfer, but just because of the volume and the vibration from this, the rest of the cigar box guitar would be resonating. The dual sound post system allows the guitar to resonate better because it's directly transferring the vibrations from the face, because they're touching the face on that surface, and it transfers them directly to the back. So what that does is it's got the face and the back of the cigar box guitar resonating together, which is going to be, again, better tone, better volume, and all that good stuff. So now the electronics, we use the best electronic parts because poor electronics can ruin a cigar box guitar and good electronics can make it great. We use full-size Bourne's pots, and the pots are these little metal circles right here that are attached to the volume and tone knobs, as you can see. And Bourne's is a very reputable manufacturer, and we use full-size pots, which is just going to allow them to last a lot longer than some of the smaller pots that you might see on some cigar box guitars. Nutrix jacks, which are one of the best brands, and our piezos. We use the Windy City Blues Box piezo system that we sell in our own guitars here. We encase them in wood, which helps get rid of some of the feedback that you might experience while maintaining good tone. Just something that we played around with a lot, and it works really well, so we like to use that. So now I'm going to take you to the outside of the guitar, talk about some of the woods. Windy City Blues Box cigar box guitars do not have some of the standard woods that you might see on most cigar box guitars. We don't really use red oak or poplar or any of those Home Depot woods. We use more high quality woods that are commonly used on stringed instruments because they sound better. This particular cigar box guitar has a walnut fretboard with a rock maple neck. Yeah, it does look better, but it's going to sound a lot better too. You can really hear the difference between these woods and like red oak or poplar in the neck. The tailpiece is reinforced with 4 steel tubes. Basically that's just going to reinforce the tailpiece and keep the strings from digging into the wood. Instead they rest up against that steel, so they're not going to be like digging in there, making it ugly or anything like that. You can see the neck is inlaid, and these are real pearl inlays. That's not plastic. That's genuine pearl in the neck. And a feature that's common among regular guitars, but not so common among cigar box guitars, are these little side dots right here. You can see I've inlaid little white dots into the side of the fretboard marking the fret locations, because when you're playing, you can't always see the front of the fretboard. You're looking over it and you can see the sides of the frets and the side of the neck, but not necessarily the front of the fretboard. So it's always helpful to have these little side dots in here so that you know which fret is what, where you're playing, and where you need to be on the neck. And it just makes it a lot more enjoyable and a lot easier to play. The neck is rounded, similar to a regular guitar. We do not use square necks. This just feels a lot better. It's more comfortable and easier to play. Not having those corners from a square neck or rectangular neck digging into your hand. And again, just improves the playing experience. The nut and bridge are both hand carved out of bone. Bone is commonly used on the nuts and bridges of regular guitars because they sound the best. Now, granted, some guitars might use other materials such as tusk or plastic, and I'm not going to go too much into those. But when it comes down to it, bone is really the best, and it's only used on the best electric guitars. You have to spend a lot of money on a regular guitar to get it to come with bone, or pay somebody a lot of money to hand carve it for your guitar. But every single Windy City Blues box comes with bone. No nuts, bolts, or plastic or anything like that. Bone nut, bone bridge, and occasionally, as you can see on this guitar, I'll use a high quality wood for the bridge, such as ebony or something like that, which is still very high quality like bone, but it helps us achieve kind of a different sound. And last but not least, the tuners. These are the signature Shane Spiel tuners that I use on the Windy City Blues boxes. And one quick thing that I want to hit on before the video, this portion of the video is over, is the fret ends. Doing fretwork and installing frets is something that takes a little bit of time to learn how to do, and just kind of practice makes perfect. I've fretted several necks, be it cigar box guitars or standard guitars, regular 6-string, sorry, and you'll find that the fretwork on the Windy City Blues box is really good. The sides of the frets are not sharp. It feels very smooth and comfortable as you run your hand up and down. No sharp fret ends or fret corners. Everything is done very well with the player in mind. So that's the Windy City Blues box standard model. You can check some of our other videos for playing tutorials, maintenance, and also some of our other instruments or accessories that we sell. So that's it.